Hi, everyone. I'm John C. Morley, the host of the Jmor Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to the Jmor Tech Talk Show. I can't believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we are already in the third week of February. Where did January go? Where did 2022 go? Well, we have another great show for you guys tonight, as I'm sure you're aware. So let's get right into it, shall we? And in case you're new, there's a QR code. You can use your phone. Just open up the camera app, point to that QR code, and touch the ellipse, and you'll be greeted with my link sheet with lots of great information to improve your life, as well as many of the Jmor Tech Talk shows. So let's go ahead and share our first topic. Let's get started. Electronic bag tags are ready for takeoff. So what is this all about? Well, basically, Alaska Airlines has made electronic bag tags available to elite mileage plan members with a broader rollout plan in the first half of the year. And walking into SeaTac Airport for an afternoon flight could be a lot easier now, with the Alaska Airlines now serving kiosks to print bag tags, and you wouldn't be wasting time in the crowd anymore. So that's pretty much what's happening. So you might still have to wait in line to drop off your bag, but by the bag tag, with it being attached, it'll be ready before you arrive at the airport. And in fact, it's been on probably your bag now for several weeks for multiple flights at different destinations, which makes it even easier. And this is because an electronic bag tag, about 3x5 roughly, has a little device made by a Dutch company called BagTag. And it's powered by near field communications from a smartphone, just long enough for a Bluetooth low energy connection to update the e-link display. The same technology used in Kindles and other e-readers when checking in for a flight on the airline apps. After that, the electronic tag stays on the screen until it's updated for your flight. Pretty cool. And so the question you might be asking is, when is my airline going to have bag tag? Well, so bag tag gets you ahead of the check-in line a lot easier. And so when we think about, what happens with the fact that, you're standing in line for such a long time, you use your phone to control your baggage journey. You check in and label your bag with just a few clicks. Arrive at the airport, ready to fly, and avoid those wonderfully boring and unnecessary queues. So the nice thing about it is you don't have to worry about recharging, because it is batteryless. So that's pretty cool. It withstands all airport conditions, and you could take control with the all-in-one app solution. So the question is this something people are going to, should I say, embrace? Or is it something that people are going to be on the fence about? And I think when I say on the fence about, it is technology, and it is something that seems pretty cool. It's a convenience, and the technology is pretty neat, but is it going to work? Meaning, what happens when it goes wrong? So there have been some minor glitches around the globe, unfortunately. And in the short run, a lack of availability among different airlines means it's not a great solution for people who fly regularly on multiple carriers. So infrequent travelers probably won't see enough value in it. However, the electronic bag tag will be worth the investment for many frequent Alaska Airlines passengers and for regular customers of other airlines as the technology becomes readily available. So your luggage arrives consistently on time at your destination. for now, this is primarily a system and test in the fact that the E tags work reliably and not because of big technological leaps in bag tracking. It's basically a simple technology that has just been used in a new type of way. The electronic bag tags do not contain RFID transmitter. And again, it's easier for the airlines to track and route bags, but it will require infrastructure upgrades at many US airports. So the nice thing about this is that they'll be able to control and make sure that your luggage gets to the right place automatically without you having to worry about it. So the question is, how much are bag tags? And I think that's an interesting question because the electronic tags are going to vary, but it's about a $70 figure per device. So, just under $100 per device. But again, you can use it on multiple flights, and supposedly it's going to help you do a lot of great things. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with bag tags. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it's very similar to what they did in the UPS and the FedEx market, how, they route packages using, scanners and smart technology. So that's kind of, what's been happening there. So we'll keep an eye on that, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll definitely keep you abreast of that technology and what's happening. So something new I wanted to share with you guys. And in some other cool news that's coming up is, the update to the Apple iOS 16.3.1. So this is another update by Apple. It's available for the iPhone 8 and later, iPad Pro, all models, iPad Air 3, third generation and later, and the iPad 5th generation and later, and the iPad mini 5th generation and later. The impact is an app may be able to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges. And a use after free issue was addressed with improved memory management. Also, the Xinru Chi of Pangu Labs per the Google project. So there have been some fixes as well as the CVE chief threat, the vulnerability impacted WebKit, the engine behind all iOS web browsers, including Safari, potentially allowing hackers to execute code on iPhones or iPads. Now you might be saying to me, John, hey, what is a CVE? All right, common vulnerabilities and exposures. So definitely something we've got to stay. I'm going to say on the mark for. But I got to tell you that updating your iOS phone is not a hard process. You can expect the first beta of the iOS 16.4 to be released probably around this week or a little bit later. And rumors are the update will include the revamped HomeKit architecture initially released in iOS 16.2. So right now, if I was to go to my phone, which is pretty easy to do, and I was just to go up there and I was just to type in the word update, which I can do very easily from the settings screen, I'll see it says software update. Mine says automatic updates on. It takes a second just to pull up, which once it does, and it says iOS 16.3. Now, right now, I have not updated to the 16.4, the 16.32. They had a minor bug fix to arrive before the 16.4. But the question is, should I be updating? And I think the short answer is yes, because anything you can do to make your phone more reliable and more safe is definitely important. So the update to the 16.31 is 269.9 megabytes. Just go ahead here. You can see, ladies and gentlemen, and click on the download and install button. It'll ask you for your PIN. And then what you're going to see on your phone is it will actually say, would you, basically, do you want to use the update? You want to allow it. And, you can continue on with the update. And once you continue on with the update, it could take a couple minutes. Once that happens, it's relatively easy. You just kind of wait for that process to finish. And once that process finishes, it's going to go through some things automatically. And once that happens, you're actually going to get a little message but it usually takes somewhere around a minute to maybe, I'm going to say 5 or 6 minutes, depending on how fast of an internet connection you have. And it says once it's downloading, it says the update provides important bug fixes and security updates for your iPhone. Once it's done downloading, which we'll come back to in a second, we will then go and install it. Now, the important thing is that when you install this update or any update from Apple, it will basically take your phone out of service for the brief couple minutes while it reboots. So the iPad iOS 16.31, the phone iOS 16.31, there are isolated reports of bugs in the release and notably single strength complaints, but the security of your device obviously comes first. And I got to tell you that when it comes to security, I think that should be your first concern. So again, expect the 16.4 to be released either like toward the end of this week or probably next week. And rumors are that the update will include, again, the HomeKit architecture released in iOS 16.2. So pretty cool. The thing about iOS 16.31, a lot of us say, hey, John, I don't want to put up with this. Even though your phone is set to auto update, I've noticed that it doesn't install automatically. Even though it says install automatically, it doesn't. So again, just to review, what are the updates in 16.31? Because I know some of you are probably saying, hey, John, I don't quite get what all the updates are. So let me try to go through them, quickly so you understand. So first of all, the update provides important bug fixes and security updates for your iPhone. That's number one. As we said, the CVEs, which are the common vulnerabilities and exposures. So iCloud settings may be unresponsive or incorrectly display if apps are using iCloud. Okay, supposedly it fixes that. Serial requests for Find My may not work. Crash detection optimizations on the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Pro. The release notes for the iPad are the same, excluding the crash detection update for the iPhone 14 models. And this updates addresses which would trigger when people were not actually involved in a crash. Hopefully, this will fix that issue as well. So Apple has yet to release the 16.4 beta, but we're probably going to see the 16.32 very, very soon, as I mentioned to you. So again, you can get to this by going to Settings, General, Software, Update, Download, Install, or you can just go to Settings and type Update, choose Software Updates, and away you go. Now, just since we started this, ladies and gentlemen, I am literally sitting at, if you guys can see, I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not on the screen. It might be a little hard. It actually says 16.31 is what it shows, but I know it's a little hard to see the phone. So right now, it's about 1 minute remaining. I know a lot of you are saying, hey, John, I can't download the update because it says I'm on cellular. Now, you can still use cellular, but keep in mind that if you're not paying an unlimited fee, it is going to, charge you a chunk of change. So do make sure that you're connected on a reliable Wi-Fi network and one that is secure. Once you do that, go ahead and go back to that option and download it. Now, right now, it says about 16 seconds remaining. Now, on some phones, what will happen is, depending on the state, if you request the update, it'll say that it was requested, but then you have to wait a minute or two till it's actually there. Now, right now, it says about 8 seconds remaining on my iPhone here for the iOS 16.31. And it's going to take just a second, 4 seconds. Well, it's going to go to 3 seconds here in a second. And then it goes to 2 seconds. Again, I know you guys can't see that. And then it's going to go over to 1 second. And then it's going to say the word preparing update. So preparing is, it's downloaded it, and preparing is when it's getting ready for the install. That'll include such as the extracting and getting it ready. And then what it'll do is it'll actually commence with the install. It will then reboot your phone and start finishing the process, which is to initiate the install process itself. So again, it's a fairly easy thing. Just remember that your phone will be out of commission. We'll come back to the iPhone update as soon as that finishes. So I'll let you know what's happening there in just a little bit. But it is very easy to do, and I definitely would encourage all of you to do it. All right. So smartphone warning. You want to change these settings, ladies and gentlemen. So I know mine is still updating, but if you were to go to your iPhone right now and you were to go to settings, and then you were going to go down to where it says mail, okay, pretty easy to go to, you're going to see something that says privacy protection. So settings, you'll scroll down to mail, And then once you get to mail, you will see privacy protection. Now, the question that you might be asking yourself is, how does all this work? Well, it's really pretty simple. Again, you're going to go to settings, okay? And you're going to scroll down and you're going to select where it says mail. Once you select mail, you're going to go ahead down to where it says privacy protection, okay? And then on privacy protection, you're going to slide the toggle next to protect mail activity to the right to enable the particular setting. So again, it is a pretty easy process. And I think a lot of you will be saying to me, hey, John, why didn't I do that? And it's not because you didn't want to. A lot of times it's because you didn't know. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that could be a huge issue for a lot of people. So, thinking about this option right now where I talk to you about privacy protection, and you can go right to go to privacy and security. And there's something called location services, there's tracking services, and you can literally ask apps not to track you. And there's other settings there as well. So, again, there's something called a safety check, and go to safety check. You have emergency reset, which immediately resets access for all your people and apps and reviews your account security. And you can also customize which people and apps can access your information and review your account security. I think that is pretty cool. But I think the most important thing is that Apple is always been focused on security. We know that. I mean, that's not really a surprise to, I believe, any of us. And so my update is still on preparing update 16.31. So again, I think people get taken back because they don't realize that security is a problem. And if you understand that security is something you have to stay on top of, well, then you won't actually have an issue with it. All right. Let's talk about Microsoft Bing's chat. All right, this has been an absolute, how can I say, disaster. Because, a lot of people don't get what's happening here. They don't understand this whole hype because, Microsoft made this whole hype that, the chat bot thing was going to be great. And I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this chatbot thing, although it sounds interesting, it's a problem. And this is a quote right from The Verge. Microsoft's Bing, and I quote, is emotionally manipulative, liar, and people love it. So users have been reporting all sorts of, let's say, very bad behavior from Microsoft's AI chatbot. In one conversation with The Verge, Bing even claimed it spied on Microsoft's employees through webcams on their laptops and manipulated them. Microsoft Bing's chatbot has been unleashed on the world, and people are discovering what it means to be in a beta test environment, or shall we say an unpredictable AI environment. I definitely think that this product needs a little more, how can we say, a little more research or R&D. So my feeling is that, this really should not have been released to the public. It should have been, I think, brought to a more controlled community. And I think that would have made things better for everyone. But hey, this is what's been happening. This is what's been going on. Everybody thinks that this thing is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it really isn't. Anytime technology comes out, you don't have a chance to actually review it or, go back and say, hey, is this the right thing? Is this not the right thing? I think it's a problem. We all know that Microsoft wants to make money. I mean, that's no surprise. So we'll definitely keep an eye on what's going on with Microsoft's Bing chatbot. But my recommendation is don't use it. It's not ready for users or anyone in the world yet. It's still testing. And the fact that it grabs data and reports things in a way that would not be so conducive to a lot of people, especially those that may not like technology or be afraid of technology, I think it probably should have been, let's say, parking lotted and kept for just a small beta group and not released to the whole world. But, Microsoft decided to release it, so, you get what you get. Here's something really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. A hyper-realistic robot of a famed artist And I'll spell this name for you because I don't want to mess up the name. The name is actually Yayoi Kusama. That's Yayoi Kusama. Makes people step and stare. So what the heck is this thing? It's this new robot that actually was launched. But the thing about this robot, oh, by the way, it actually has a step right now where it said verifying the update, and then after it says verifying the update, it's going to now reboot my phone. So that's like almost, let's say, more than 60% of the update being done. So you don't want to do anything on that. And literally, it's rebooting my phone. It's probably about 2 or 3%. The Apple logo has come up on the black screen. And so this hyper realistic robot of the famed artist I just mentioned makes people stop. And the thing that's very interesting about this is that it's catching so many people's attention. I mean, so many people are stopping to say, hey, what the heck is going on with this? And I think it's because it's so lifelike. And, this tiny home robot will keep you company while you self isolate. The hyper realistic robot of the famed artist that I was just mentioning. And I have to think, ladies and gentlemen, that it's kind of the future of what they say blink. If any of you have read the book, I think a lot of people, when they see something that's close to being lifelike, they're ready to jump on it. They're ready to say, hey, let's check this out. Let's try this. Because let's face it, a lot of robots out there, technology out there, are mimicking what humans are doing, but they're not quite exactly in alignment. Okay. And this robot really caused a big stir in New York. So if you like robots and really realistic ones, you'll definitely have to go to New York so that you can observe this artist painting her very famous polka dots in the window of the Louis Vuitton store on Fifth Avenue. Actually, you'll see there is a surprisingly realistic robot of the Kusama that makes movements and grimaces in a very interesting way. It turns out that this is going to be something that I think is going to captivate people because now it's showing art. And in a big way, as only Louis Vuitton knows how to do, this is an iconic, I should say, collaboration that's celebrating the blending or the melding of art, audacity, craftsmanship, and psychedelic proposal of Kusama. So this is pretty cool. Are we going to see more of this? Well, a Bhutan pop-up space located in the meatpacking district was covered in floor-to-floor infinity dots to echo the artist's celebrated infinity room, and was also dedicated to the new Yayoi Kusama collection. And this is just interesting. I love when we're able to take technology and get people to appreciate where things are coming from. By the way, my iPhone is probably about, I'm going to say maybe 10%. This boot up process is not just a boot up process. It's actually installing the 16.31 iOS update. But again, when there is an update and it's about security, I would tell you you've got to do it. All right. I know there could be potentials of things not working right, but hey, the security of your phone is the name of the game, or any mobile device you have, laptop, etc. So security has to win over everything. And if it doesn't, then I think you got to readjust your priorities. That's my own personal opinion, but I think something you guys should follow. And more and more stuff is starting to evolve as we're in 2023. I think people are starting to wonder, what's going on with technology. And before I take a quick leap, I want to ask you guys a question. You guys may or may not know the answers. What new technology, okay, was in the latest Super Bowl? Does anybody know? The latest technology in the Super Bowl. So Fox Sports elevated its camera technology for Sunday's broadcast for the Super Bowl with more slow motion cameras than ever and an unprecedented two sky cams and new artificial intelligence service that makes the most out of all the equipment so they can really give an amazing production. So technology wins, and the football teams are being able to benefit from it. And the new AI technology could change game prep for Super Bowl teams. Engineers trained an algorithm to annotate football game film. I mean, this is something that is really, really cool. So, the tech behind the game, the Super Bowl is utilizing the most advanced technologies, including cutting edge communication systems and high tech video streaming. Now, we've known about streaming before. That's nothing big, but the face of the Super Bowl is changing. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, my phone just came back online. That took, probably 5-10 minutes. And if I go to my update screen just to see that my phone updated, I could see that my phone is indeed at iOS 16.31. So camera tech has come a long way. Super Bowl halftime show has come a long way. I mean, I think they got really crazy with the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl IT and event security benefited from the most advanced IT event security solutions around. With millions of people attending the Super Bowl, they had to really step up their game. Advances in facial recognition technology have enabled Super Bowl organizers to develop comprehensive security protocols involving physical and digital security measures. So really amazing how they have evolved. And Super Bowl stats in real time. The Super Bowl is the biggest sporting event of the year, and knowing who the favorites are can help you make better predictions when betting on futures. The conclusion, of course, with all the exciting additions to the innovations of Super Bowl, especially in 2023, we are definitely sure that it's probably the most talked about event in sports history ever. With the new technologies, as we said, like facial recognition, security solutions, real-time stats, and betting odds, there's so many ways to stay up to date on the latest news and trends of the Super Bowl. Like I said, the halftime show supposedly had some interesting things. I watched it. Um, you know, the first thing I thought about when I thought about the Super Bowl's half show was I said, gee, it's pretty dangerous. Um, the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl halftime show, I think, was dangerous. And you might say, gee, why? Um, they said it was one of the most watched shows in recent history. Um, I think the reason I consider it dangerous is that, the way they had all of these cables, lifting things up and down, um, you know, on top of all that, the fact of Rihanna uh, almost falling from one of the hanging platforms um, was a slight of an issue. And there was no harm to anyone before, but during or after the presentation. But again, she almost fell. And all I kept saying to myself is, I think they might have went a little too far with this Super Bowl game. Because I get that they want to impress people. Believe me, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's nothing new. But I think they went a little too far, and somebody could have really gotten hurt. That was my biggest concern, ladies and gentlemen, that somebody was going to get hurt, possibly Rihanna, because I saw the way, things were going up and down. And you might ask yourselves, how did the tech work on the Super Bowl halftime show? And the Super Bowl halftime show got set up in just 6 minutes. Okay. And you're probably saying to me, John, this sounds amazing. But again, they designed the audio and they had this whole choreographed event with the songs and lyrics. And my biggest concern is that this halftime show had people more interested in what was going on and less on the actual song. Yeah, I think that's a problem. It might have come as a surprise to you. The truth is that the Super Bowl halftime show performers didn't get paid for their concerts. Instead, the NFL pays for all expenses associated with putting on the halftime show, including travel costs. Why would they even want to come out? So they didn't get paid? I mean, that kind of blows my mind. They didn't get paid. And the other thing that has me really bewildered is the fact that not only did they not get paid, but they risked their lives on those platforms. They risked their lives. I mean, moving stages at halftime. That was something. I think we were more concerned about what was going to happen in the Super Bowl than, you know, the song. And I feel that when you take away from the song, from the actor, okay, I think you've gone overboard. Now, you know Disney, right? You know MGM, you know Fox, and you know other companies that actually produce, theatrical type events. And I have to say that every one of these that I've been to, they have wow factors, but they never go so far as to cause a danger or to be so out there that you pay more attention to what's going on than the song or the actor. Now, if they did have something like that, then they have a special slotted time when that firework, when that event or attraction took place, but the singer wasn't singing them. My biggest problem was I thought we were too distracted with how things were moving around during that Super Bowl halftime, and I just kept thinking that somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. And there are definitely new rules coming, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, there are new rules. Facebook, Google, Twitter, and TikTok will face stricter EU rules. What the heck is this about? Well, the new rules require large tech platforms to do risk management and external and independent auditing. Wow. Brussels, and I quote, the tech giants, including Facebook, Google, Twitter, and TikTok, face stricter online content rules in the European Union due to their huge number of users. Close quote. So I think the European Union is getting concerned at how fast these platforms are growing. And because of that, they're now imposing more, let's say, stricter regulations. The new rules, known as the DSA, or the Digital Services Act, classify companies with more than 45 million users as very large online platforms, or VLOPs, VLOPS, and require them to do risk management and external and independent auditing. And they will also have to share data with authorities and researchers and adopt a code of conduct. I don't think these people are going to like this. Now, the European Commission had given online platforms and search engines until February 17th to publish their monthly active users. Those labeled as the VLOPs have 4 months to comply with the rules or risk fines. Ouch. We know that's going to be expensive. Twitter, just this past week on Thursday, said it had 100.9 million average monthly users in the European Union, based on an estimation of the last 45 days. Google's owner, Alphabet, GOOGL.O, provided one set of numbers based on user accounts and another set based on signed out recipients, saying users can access its services whether they sign in to an account or are signed out. I see some people getting some hefty fines. It's also said that the average monthly number of signed-in users totaled 278.6 million at Google Maps and 274.6 million at Google Play, 332 million at Google Search and 74.9 million at Shopping, and 401.7 million at YouTube. We know they got to comply. Apple, AAPL.O, said only its App Store built for its iPhones with more than 45 million monthly users qualified as a very large online platform. But it'll also apply the same rules to App Store for iPads, Mac computers, Apple Watches, and TVs, and to its Apple Books, eBooks, and podcast paid subscriptions. So again, the question is, what's going to happen? And so if you're still wondering what the heck is a VLOP, a VLOP are people that have a large amount of users, a very large amount of users. And those are people that have more than 45 million users, as they're referred to as VLOPs, very large online platforms. And this is in regard to the DSA, Digital Services Act. Why are they doing this? Because the European Union is fearing that people are starting to get exploited by what's going on. That's why they're doing it. And they also, they want to make sure that their users are staying safe. They want to make sure their users are staying safe. So if their users are staying safe, then I feel that, it's going to be easier. But I don't think this is just going to last, ladies and gentlemen, with the European Union. I think we're going to see this all over the world. Okay. I don't mean just one place. I mean all over the world. And by all over the world, we're talking a lot, and I have to say to you, big fines for, we're even talking to companies like possibly TikTok, right? We know TikTok got slapped a big fine by the French, right? Not too long ago. That was in January of this year. Now, somebody asked me a question. Can you get fined on TikTok? So popular short form hosting service TikTok has been fined close to 5 million pounds, which is about 5.4 million by the French data protection watchdog for breaking cookie consent rules and making it the latest platform to face similar penalties after Amazon, Google, and Meta and Microsoft since 2020. So I think a lot of these companies are going to be raising their fees because they're going to have to recap them, right? They're going to have to recap what is going on in life. And so if they get away with something today, does that mean that they're going to get away with that tomorrow? I think what we're going to find out is the answer is going to be no. And the more that we look into technology, the more that we look into, providers and, just trends starting to emerge across the entire digital market as well as non-digital market, a lot of companies are trying to sneak out. They're trying to get into doing things that are under the radar. And they're trying to say that they have a lower count, like we just heard from before. But really, they don't have a lower count. They probably have double or even more than that. So the question is this going to become a lot of court cases back and forth? Or are these companies going to fess up and say, look, this is where we're at. We know we got to own up. We got to take our responsibility. We got to do what's right for not only the European Union, but for the American people. Because right now, they're only doing this because they're on the threat of getting charged millions and billions of dollars in the European Union. The question is, will the U.S. do something like this? I don't know. I do think it's going to take time. But I know that if they get burnt by the European Union, they're probably not going to be able to do this in the U.S. either. Because, again, if something they do affects somebody, and let's say that European Union, that citizen maybe visits the U.S., they technically could bring up complaints with the European Union because they were traveling. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation here, and I feel that where technology is going with Facebook and the fact that Facebook changed their name to Meta, which we all know they're still Facebook, but they say they're Facebook Meta, it just causes us to ask more questions, to get some answers, but those answers cause us to keep asking more questions that we can't get answers to. And it's not because the companies don't have the answers. It's because they don't want to kowtow and give us the honest truth. Why don't they want to do that? because they'd rather exploit us. They would rather manipulate us, grab our data, and share it with people that are going to pay them billions of dollars. See, that's the problem. And we know companies that did this in the past, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." Doing it once might be an I'm sorry. Doing it 2 or 3 times with millions of people's data, well, that's a pretty big fine. So before we wrap up tonight's episode of Jmor Tech Talk, I think what we have to be looking out for in 2023 is where artificial intelligence is going, where people are using technology to reference information. We saw what happened with Microsoft's AI engine and how that engine shouldn't even be on the street right now. But we know that they're desperate to get that in front of people so they can make more money. I mean, that's the name of the game. It's all about money. It's not about doing the right thing. And unfortunately, I have to be the bearer of bad news to tell you that there are going to be more companies out there. They're going to attempt to rip you off, that are going to attempt to exploit you. Why? Because they feel they can. So it's up to you to discern what's out there and make the choice, ladies and gentlemen. Should I do this? Should I not do this? And remember, just because you're one person, it doesn't mean you don't have a voice. Everyone's voice matters. And if we all speak up and we all let manufacturers and we all let Congress and different organizations know what we feel, rules are going to change. The European Union did this not because they're so smart. They did it because of the people that are on the board, because of the community, because of the citizens complaining about what's going on, because of potential lawsuit cases. That's why they're doing this. They're trying to protect their behind. They want to make sure that they don't get sued. That's the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen. All right, you know who I am by now. If you don't, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I invite you to check out Believe Me Achieve, an amazing link to you, which has so much information to improve the quality of your life. But you know what? I would really like it if you'd pop by and see my brand new radio show on WTBQ Radio in New York or New Jersey. You can go to WTBQ.com and watch me any Tuesday from 10:05 to 10:58 every single Tuesday morning. I look forward to seeing you on another Jmor Tech Talk show. And I hope, ladies and gentlemen, if you have something that you would like to share with our show, that you'll make the choice to reach out to our team and apply to be on our show, because we love to feature people that have information to share. Remember, we're not a sales show. We're about giving people the facts and giving people the truth. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. And I hope that the inspiration you receive from our show helps keep you out of danger and keeps you just a little bit ahead of the curve so you can feel comfortable and safe with the technology you choose to use in your life. Have yourself a great rest of your weekend. And I'm going to see you guys next Friday. Take care, everyone.